Hello, and thank you for joining us for our latest installment of our Solutions for Success seminars. My name is Jonathan Hamilton, and I am the president at Point Alliance. Today's topic, which I think will be very popular with people right now, Microsoft Teams Fundamental Training. Already, pre-pandemic, the fastest growing Microsoft product in history. As you can imagine, when the pandemic started 10 months ago, organizations moved even faster onto the Teams platform to assist with collaboration, phone systems, all sorts of things that John Zeri is going to walk us through today. So, and as you'll notice, we are running today's event as a live event through Microsoft Teams. So we're certainly using the technology ourselves here at Point Alliance. But as opposed to taking up your time, I will turn you over to John Zeri, the CEO at Point Alliance and Microsoft Teams certified professional to lead you through today's session. John, over to you.
Thank you, Jonathan, for introduction. We are very excited today to show you a bunch of very useful features within the Microsoft team, and hopefully after this, you will be able to be more efficient using the product. Again, as Jonathan mentioned, one of the fastest growing software, especially within the Microsoft. That said, I only have a few pages of the PowerPoint just to give you an idea of what we're going to be covering today. And right after, we're going to go to the live demo. As we're doing the demo, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure they all get answered. All right, so we're going to start. Again, our agenda, just a short introduction. What is Microsoft 365 collaboration? What is Teams, chat, calls, scheduling, and managing meeting, file sharing, web client, and we're also going to touch on a web client mobile app. So a little bit about who we are. Again, Point Alliance is a Microsoft Gold certified partner. We specialize within Microsoft Cloud, Teams, SharePoint, Dynamic, Endpoint Manager, and Power BI. And again, as Jonathan mentioned, my name is John Zeri. I'm the CEO with the Point Alliance. You can find my information here. If you have any question later, you can email me or find me on LinkedIn, please. Just to give you an idea before we jump to Teams, again, Microsoft 365 collaboration is a modern way of working. And again, really, the whole goal of Microsoft is that when you use a product, doesn't matter where you are or what device you're using. You should be able to attend a meeting, share files in real time from anywhere. And really, with the whole pandemic, as Jonathan mentioned, it just made it really a necessity going forward. And Microsoft Teams was able to help organization. One of the questions that we get all the time that they say, okay, I have OneDrive, I have Teams, I have SharePoint. Where do I use this and where? Again, when you think of this, just to give you a very brief description of it, when you think of a OneDrive, it's just you, right? Your files, private. If you decide to share something, of course you can. Teams is when you're working with you and your team members. You collaborating on documents and sharing and so on, and that's why you use Teams. And the SharePoint is an organization-wide, maybe the human resources, posting information for all the employees and so on. Teams. Microsoft Teams is a chat and collaboration platform that allow you to document, share, online meeting, and really the whole vision is that you will be doing lots of work that you do within the different environment within the Microsoft Teams. So you could be working on the Dynamics 365. You can access it from Teams. You're working on the SharePoint side or accessing SharePoint side. You can do that work from Teams, and also outside other applications which they are non-Microsoft. as of October 28th, Microsoft Teams recorded 115 million daily active users, and this is phenomenal. And one of the most important things that people moving from other platforms to Teams, security is number one. You want to make sure data stays with your tenant, and you don't have to worry about the type of information you share because you're using an external service and the data is hosted on their data center. The main elements of Microsoft Teams, when you think of it, again, chat, that could be one-to-one or to one-to-many meetings. Again, Microsoft Teams support from 2 to 10,000 people can join a meeting. A call, again, by default, Teams use a VoIP communication that you can communicate with your team members, but you also could add a module to it. It's called Microsoft Voice System to allow you to actually dial out numbers and receive a dial-in number calls. So again, that's an add-on that makes really life easy, and you don't have to kind of enroll another VoIP system. It's integrated with your entire Microsoft system very well. And collaboration, which is one of my favorites. We're going to touch on that today. To be able to share a file, edit files, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all at the same time. That's it. We're just going to jump into our live demo here. So I'm going to just move my screen in a second and bring this one over. Again, for the purpose of this presentation, I'm using a web browser of the Teams. One of the great things that Microsoft done, the web browser code base is identical to what you have on your desktop. So again, as you can see, with not seeing the browser, you will know that if I'm in a browser or on a desktop app. Once you open the Microsoft Teams, there's a few things that you notice right away. Search on top, a few icons on the left, activity, chat, Teams, calendar, calls, and files. So I will touch on that shortly. One of the great resources within the Teams, right, search on top. So if you're looking for something, you can just search on it because you can be searching for people, you can search for files, you can search for phrases. And if you need a help, you just type /, and there's lots of built-in help into it to kind of get you on the shortcuts here. So if I'm looking for the help, I can just click on that and it will open the help section. And again, this is fantastic. Microsoft done an amazing job with the education material for each of their products. And you can see, you can find lots of information on every aspect of the Microsoft Team right from here. So again, all you have to do, just do a / in the search bar, and you will find lots of shortcuts here, how to find things. Again, the next thing is the activity. The activity helps you to kind of keep track of what is happening. Again, somebody mention your name and so on. Again, we're gonna have a conversation back and forth shortly, and you can see how that works as we go forward. Chat, as I mentioned, chat could be one-to-one or one-to-many. So again, to start a chat is very easy. Let's just say you have lots of chat going on. So if I want to have a chat with Jonathan, what I can do, I just can type his name up here again, and just click on here, and we'll take you to this section. So even no matter which area I am in, let's just say I'm in the feed area. So click on his name and take me right to the chat, and you can start a conversation. The other thing also notice that with the name of those things, there's an awareness also built into this one. So if the person was busy or in a meeting or what's happening, so you can get information. So when you're having a chat with someone, let's just say you want to initiate a call. And by the way, I have this large mouse button, should make it easy for you to kind of follow me on the screen. I can start a call or a video call with that person instantly, right from the chat. So it is important to look at the status of the person. If they are in a meeting, perhaps you don't want to start a video call with them and disturb them as it goes. The other thing you can see also the tabs on the person. Again, if there was any files shared between me and Jonathan, you can see the organization chart and so on. So again, the other thing that you notice on the chat, which is very important, there's a bunch of icon underneath of this. So I can attach a file, I can put an emoji or those things. But the first one is called format. If you click on a format, allows you to do a bit more than just the basic stuff. So what I can do, I can put a text here. You're gonna type a text, and I can now go and make section of this to be bold, and I can highlight a bunch of this thing with a different color. So really give you that option of the adding things. And also I can make the list here, and I can add a bullet. So again, that's an advantage of the enabling that, and you won't have those options right from the short menu. So to get to that extended menu, you just click on A, and it just toggle itself on and off, and go from there. And then I can send this message now. So that's how you do the formatting. We're gonna go to the Teams next. Again, Teams is where you collaborate with your colleagues in organization and or external people. When I think of Teams, again, the names are getting a bit confusing because Microsoft Teams and Teams. When you think of Teams, think of like a filing cabinet, and underneath of the Teams you have these channels, and think of these file folders within that filing cabinet. So again, I'm gonna create a team here, and you can see how it works. So we're gonna go create a team, and I'm gonna say just from the scratch. And you have a bunch of options when you create a new team. It could be private, could be public, or organization-wide. So when it's private, you invite people to that team room, right? So to your team, you need to invite them. Public, you create them, and people can join as they wish. Organization-wide, by default, everyone in your organization will be part of that team. So you don't have to do anything. It is dynamic, that the membership of that. So we're going to get private, so we have a control over it. And we have a annual conference that's coming up. So we're going to call it 2021 annual conference. And again, you can put a bit of description here too, if you want, to give people a better idea what's happening. So it's creating a team. And now asking me, let's just add some members to it. So I'm going to go here and add Jonathan. And add him here. So as soon as I add Jonathan, he will get an email notice to say, let him know that he's been added to this team called 2021 Annual Conference. And when I create a user, I have a couple of options here. Do I make them owner or member? Again, member can contribute, post, and read stuff. Owner can assign people, and you can change some of the setting within that team. So I'm going to keep him as a member. And you can see by default, every time you create a team, it creates a channel. It's called general. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a couple of more channels here. So again, you click on the ellipsis on top, add a channel. So we're going to call it marketing here. And just add this. And I'm going to create one more channel here. And I'm going to call this one budget. Again, every conference need to deal with a budget. But again, budget is a private area. And I just want to kind of share it with one person. Let's just say this team has multiple members, but only one Jonathan have access to that. So what I will do, I change the privacy of this team, this channel, sorry, to private, and go next. So one thing you have to remember, when you're creating a team room and you're adding a channel which is private, only members of that team can be added to that private channel. So if I go to try to find somebody else here, I'm not going to find that. So only the people who are already member of the team could be a member of the private channel. So I'm going to add him here. And done. And one thing you will notice, because this channel was private, there's a lock beside it. So if there are multiple people, member of this team, they're not going to see that channel if they're not a member of that budget. Again, which is nice because you don't want people feel excluded. In the same time, you have an area that you can discuss private stuff without everybody in that team have access. This also could be useful for organizations that share projects that have external people accessing that team. Maybe you want to have an internal channel that you're discussing things and you don't want the client to see those information. So you can create a channel which is private, only available to you.
John, there's a question in the Q&A, just a quick question about, is there anything at the tenant level or within the team's configuration that you need to do with regards to internal and external users and private channels within teams to make sure that it's secured how you would like it?
A very good question. So one of the things that I always do, I always make my team room private. So by default, only I would have access to it until I give access to other people to that team. And the other thing that need to be happen, your organization need to allow to have external people to be joining your team. So by default, that option also disabled. So you cannot just invite somebody from outside to a team and to a channel. So that need to be in place. But again, when you create a team, it's very secure because the private team is you only have access to it, and those individuals you give access. So even as a system administrator, by default, I cannot see the content of the team if I'm not a member of that team. I hope that answered your question. So we're gonna go here in a general and do a couple of things here. So general tab, you see there's a button here, says new conversation. So we're gonna add a new conversation. As I mentioned, you wanna click on A to see more formatting. And you see once I do more formatting, within the channels, you have more option for formatting that you would have to from one-to-one chat. One of the things you will notice, there's an area for subject here that you would not have that one when you do a one-to-one chat. So I'm gonna put a subject here. I'm gonna put some text here. The other thing, you see, by default, everything is a conversation. But if you want to get people's attention within that team and the channel, you can make an announcement. And then also I can add a image here. So I'm going to go here, grab an image. I create it here. I can adjust it a bit and done. So right now you just get a bit of a better formatting and you know, some image, some announcement you're making. I can post this one. So it's going to show as an announcement and everybody will be able to see it because of the announcement. The other thing you can do within here, so I'm going to start another conversation and go to formatting and do a PowerPoint demo and put some text. And I'm going to click on attachment here. Again, we just created this team, just have to give it a second. I'm going to upload it from my computer. And I'm going to grab my demo PowerPoint here. And sorry, did I upload this thing? Of course, what is a demo with not a little bit of hiccup here? And not sure why it's not uploading my attachment. All right, just give me 1 second. I apologize for that. And let's just see, change this channel. And see what's happening here. See if we have some issue here. Yes, it's not willing to upload a attachment for me. Just give me one quick second, and of course we have gone through this many times, and all right, it is uploading. That's good. All right, so again, I was hoping that I can add it as a post. I'm not sure why it's not uploading into the post, but I'm just going to open this file now. So again, I'm also going to get Jonathan to open that file from the file tab. And one thing that I love about the whole collaboration between Microsoft Teams is the fact of that allow you put a document up and multiple people can work on it at the same time. As you can see right now, Jonathan is on the first page, and as he's making changes, we can see what page he's making changes, and we can see the text. You can see he's on that, and he's making a change right on our screen on the other page. So you could have multiple people working on the same document at the same time and go that. And you also can have a start a conversation. So I can go here. Edits here. So again, you have a conversation going on side as the document is changing. And this is a true collaboration, because in the old days, what we do, we start a PowerPoint document, we email this to the group of people, they all make the changes, and the document come back. And what's happened, that not the owner of that document need to merge everything. And in the meanwhile, the people that made the changes, they are not aware of what other people have done so far, right? So again, they're working in the isolated environment. With this, you always work on a live document, because you can see there's no save, no nothing there. As you make it changes, this document get updated in the background. So if I share this thing with the 5 of my team members, and one of them came in like hours after, you can see all the edits and changes beforehand. The other thing I like about this one, as the owner of the document, if I was not in the document and I was coming to this document hours after, when I open that document, I can see what changes was done in my absence. So let's just close this, and I let Jonathan to make a couple of other changes in the background. And as he's making the changes, okay, now our document is here. And he's making the changes. When I go back to this document in a few minutes, it will let me know that certain pages was changed by Jonathan. So again, it's just a great collaboration tool. And the whole thing is that doesn't really matter. I can access that document through my mobile device. I can use it from the web, or I can use it from desktop client. So I'm going to go back to this document again. Just open it up. And again, you can see it's giving me indication. Slide has unread changes. So again, it will let me know about all the unread changes while I was away from this document. So again, it's all about power of the collaboration of knowledge. So great. So now you have a document that is at all time is final, and you can look at it and work with your team member with no issue. As simple as that. One thing I just have to kind of bring it to your attention. This works with the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, but have to make sure that you're running a latest version of those documents. So it is important that the extension of those files is PPTX or has an X at the end. So with DocX or XLSX, so you need to have that at the end. That means it's running it is a formatted for latest version of the Office product, and it is able to collaborate. Because I had this issue with the people uploading a PPT file, and they said, well, the collaboration doesn't work. So something keep in mind Again, any document you create recently within Word, Excel, or a PowerPoint would have that extension, but that's something to keep in mind for sure. So again, a great way to collaborate. You can see even my comments that I had here. Thank you for making this edit is there. So when somebody come to this conversation now, he knows a lot more than if we were just have this attachment email to them. And yeah, so that's on that. And as I mentioned, just make it easy. The other thing I love about Teams and the collaboration is that is retain of knowledge. Let's just say you have this annual conference running for 6 months and you inviting a new team member. So when I go here and add a member to this team room, so I'm gonna go here and add somebody else. I'm gonna add George. So George, know that when he joined this thing, he will be able to go scroll through all this conversation and see this without losing anything. Again, in a traditional way, when we invite a new team member to the project, what do we do? We go in and forward them probably 5-10 different email attachments as they read through it. No flow to it. So this way, when somebody get added to this team, we'll have a flow of conversation. They know what's happening, what was posted when, what was the attachment, and what was the comment to do with the including that attachment. The other thing you can also do, you notice this chat here with Jonathan. I'm gonna go back to chat here. And there's an option here on top right to add people. You can add other people to the chat and make it one-to-many. And when you add this, I'm gonna go add. Now it creates a new area here. And now I have chat with one-to-many. Again, that's a great way to do it, to have a conversation with multiple people. So I do this and put that. And also you can see there's a pencil beside it. It allow me to kind of give it a name. So it is more distinct than just George and John because to what that conversation is about. So let's just say, we call it conference planning. Yes, who is this George? And then you can give it a name. So just make it very easy to kind of collaborate and chat with one or with many people at the same time. All right, so next thing, we're gonna go to calendar to show you a few things. So calendar, this is the same thing as your Outlook calendar. So they are not anything different, except they'll show you the information. Again, the whole idea is that you don't have to go back and forth. When you are into the Teams calendar, of course, you can see the meetings, you can join them, and you also have a couple of options here. I can create a new meeting, or I can create a live event. So I'm gonna schedule a new meeting here. So when you schedule a meeting, it's the same idea as your Outlook. The only difference is that when you create a meeting from Microsoft Teams, that meeting is team enabled, right? So again, if you create a meeting from Outlook client, it doesn't have to be team enabled. So here it is, and that's why you don't have an option here. You don't see anything on the screen to say it's a team meeting, because you're creating it from Microsoft Teams, and it is meant to be a team meeting. So I can call it, you know, Teams training. Invite few people that I would do just same as I would do from my desktop. Give it a time. If it's repeat or not. So it could be a recurring meeting. I can even add it to the channel if I want to. So I can add it to be part of that. So that way, anyone from that team can join this meeting. So it will get added. And if I record this meeting, it will get added to that. So it can become part of that that team and that channel, which is again a useful way. If somebody as your team members that involved with that annual conference was not able to attend it, they can just go to that channel and see what happened. And just make it for Wednesday and send this. So if I send this one now, you can see it's creating it. Just gonna give it a second or two. again, because we say it's also a part of a channel, is adding this information, send the invite to the people that invited, and we'll add it to that channel as well. And I go to the Teams here. See, it is right here, schedule a meeting, training, and people can attend it from here. So again, it's all about collaboration, keeping people in the know, and they can come here. So other thing that I want to mention here, that within the Microsoft team, so let's just say you are using the Outlook client to schedule a meeting, right? When you go to the Outlook client in your calendar, when you only have an option for new event. Unlike desktop that is called has a new appointment, new meeting, and new team meeting, you only have one button here, new event. So in order to make this a Teams meeting, all you have to do is click on this checkbox here. Just want to remember that. So by clicking on that checkbox, it will allow you to it will add all the team meeting information, the meeting room and the link and so on to it. So that's what you have to do. So from Outlook client, just like always, you just add thing here. Yeah. Same thing. You're inviting people as you would for next week. And now I just marked it to be a Teams meeting and I send this. So when the people that invited will open that, they will have that information as part of the meeting. So we're going to come back. Next thing is on the menu here, we have calls here. So calls, again, by default, if you don't have a calling plan enabled for your organization, it will allow you to do VoIP call to your colleagues. And you see a bunch of options, speed dial, contacts, again, history, and so on. So what the speed dial does is allow you to organize that. And that's the way I use it is that you go here, create a new group. I'm going to call it PAI team. So you see it's create this one here. And right to the far right, you see these three dots, the ellipses. I'm going to add contact to this group. So I'm going to add Jonathan. Add a couple of other people here.
John, yeah. As you're doing this, I've been doing a bad job of keeping up with the questions as they scrolled off my screen. So maybe I'll just throw a couple in as you're demoing this. One is very applicable to what you're doing right now. One is, how do you add people who are not in your contact list? So where are the contacts coming from that you're adding right now? And if you want to put in new people, how do you do that?
Yes, so these people I'm adding here by just typing a name, there are people in your organization, right? So this is looking up to your directory and finding people. So I can go here. The other thing you can do, you can just type the email address. So I can go here and put the email address here. And you can see it's search for externally, because notice that john@pointalliance.com is not an internal person. I'm going to add them that way. So now I have John here, and you can see he's presenting. So even though he's not part of this organization that we do in demo, it is there. So what I do, like I have my PAI team here, I'm going to add a new group here. I can call it clients. And let's just remove John from this group. I'm going to come here and add him to this contact. So again, you just need to type your name. In order for this to work, of course, the user need to be registered on a team with the Microsoft tenant at some tenant, not your tenant, could be any tenant. So again, now I can have a conversation with person. Even the awareness works cross tenant. So again, the demo we are using is our demo tenant. It's called PAI zone, and John here is part of the Point Alliance. So you can see the email addresses. So they are different. So, but I can add that. So you can just add this. What I find great about this is that I can add all my team members, and in one a snapshot, I can see who is online, who is not online, and if I need to converse with them. So again, I can start a video call with a person. do an audio call or just simply chat with them. So by clicking on chat, you can see it will take me back to the chat here. So again, it just make it very easy. One of the things, the great thing I like about this one, this is once you add it here, is also synced with your desktop version and also your mobile client. So you don't have to repeat this speed dial in multiple places. So, and I will show that shortly how that works. Do you have any other question before I move to the next item?
Two other quick questions. One, when you were showing the calendar view of your calendar, is there any ability to see other people's calendars or groups from within Teams as you can within Outlook to overlay other calendars?
That feature is in works, and I saw that on roadmap. I'm not exactly sure when is the release date for that, but the Microsoft team engineers are working nonstop and releasing new and great features almost on the weekly basis. So I've seen that on a roadmap, and I know it's coming up very soon.
And one last question, if you want to address it now or later, was just when you were doing your file editing demo, beyond identifying what has changed, what sort of version control for past versions is accessible to people through Teams?
Yes, very good question. So one thing that within the Microsoft team, the backend of Microsoft team and your OneDrive is all based in a SharePoint, right? So again, all those information is stored in a SharePoint and there. So to see that what is happening and you want to see different version of those, so you can open that document in a SharePoint. And the other thing you also see up here, it says open in SharePoint. So it opens the entire folder there for you. Yeah, so I can open that same in here. And if I select this document and go to the version history here, you can see all the different versions here. So, and that's, again, another great feature, right? So let's just say you're working on this document and people were making the changes to it and you realize somebody deleted a slide by mistake. You can go to the previous version if you choose to. And also say when was the last modified by who, those things. Again, those are the things you don't have to think about Microsoft product when you're using this, and OneDrive. And that's why they work so well together. You know, when you create a document on your desktop, which is synced to your OneDrive, the document gets saved automatically. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, I forgot to save and I lost all my changes. Allow you to have a version history. So, a great question. Thank you. And
John, I'm gonna give you one more, not
please.
to interrupt you too much. Deleting chats and storing chats, sort of chat history and what individuals can do versus what can be set at the organization level?
Well, on the organization level, they can set up, excuse me, and they can set policies that the chat, how long the chat will last, right? So you can say, by default is a indefinite, like everything stays, nothing goes away. But some organization decide that chat only, as part of the compliance, only should last 2 weeks. That means if you have a thread of conversation, anything that falls into that window is older than 2 weeks get deleted on a daily basis, and that stays. But individually, what you can do, there's no option to delete really. You can hide the chat, but there's no option to delete. You can, of course, go in and delete on individual chats if you choose to, or edit those chats, but there's no delete things there, so you can hide it. The other thing you can do, also when you're in a one-to-many conversation, that if you were invited, there's an option to leave that. Let's just say somebody add you to this group for buy lottery ticket, and they said, you know what, I don't want to see those information. So you were added to that chat conversation, but you have a choice to leave if you choose to. Next thing on the menu here, I just want to quickly touch on this one, is files. The files is great because let's just say the document was shared with you, but you can't find that document. And in order to find it easily, you can just go to files and you can see everything that was shared with you with all the channels and chat, they're all here. So this is a quick way to find things. Of course, you can also search for it. So you go to Files, you go Microsoft Teams, and you can find that information. That said, again, that's just some area that I want to cover. Within the meetings, I just want to mention something else. Again, when you join a meeting, a few things you want to keep in mind, especially if you're presenting. One is that make sure that you close everything before your meeting starts if you're presenting, because often people they are presenting and they're going to share a screen, and then they share the entire desktop, for example. And maybe you had a tab with the banking information, or you have some confidential emails open. So that's one thing I recommend, that if you're having a meeting and you're presenting, make sure you close everything you don't need beforehand in order to not sharing anything private. The other thing that I want to show you, because I'm in the call right now, I cannot start a meeting at the same time. When you share information with people, again, as I mentioned, you have a bunch of options. You can either share the entire screen or share that window only. I find that sharing the screen is easy because I jump from one thing to other, and I find that I don't have to unshare and share back again. But let's just say you're sharing your window, and you're also going to play a YouTube video for the audience with some information you want to do. There's an option here that says include computer sound. If we don't enable that prior to sharing, people are not going to be able to hear that video you're showing. So they can see the video, of course, because you're sharing a screen, but the audio is not going to be played for the audience. So make sure if you're sharing that has a, and you're going to play a video, you check box that radio button to say include computer sound. That's important. Next thing I want to show you is a mobile, how the mobile works. So I'm going to open my phone here. And again, it doesn't matter if you're using iOS or Android devices. I'm going to share my. Okay, so that's my phone. So I'm going to go to the Teams here. You can see with the Teams, again, what you see on your desktop, you see here. So the first button I'm going to click on is Activity. You can see Jonathan replied to that. Then I'm going to go to Chat from the bottom of the screen. And we're going to say, okay, again, everything that we were discussing, it is also here. Next thing on the calls. Oh, sorry, back to Chat. One thing I want to show you that I go here, I got a chat, okay, and the calls and a voice here that if you have, then you go to Teams. You can see the team I created there is here. I'm going to go to General, and that's a PowerPoint that I shared. So I'm going to open this. You can see this is the version that Jonathan was working on. And on top of the screen, you have this option to edit. So I'm going to go edit this. You can see I can go to any of these slides now. Again, not that's something you want to do necessarily on your phone, but the fact is that it's possible. Again, this could be your iPad, could be anything like that. So I'm gonna go here, and I made this change, and I can go to different pages of this. And all right, we are happy with this. I'm gonna close this and go back to the chat again. So again, as easy as that. So you can use it even on your mobile device. On here, as you see the channels we created, general, budget, and marketing. And also the other thing you will notice on the general is that the meeting we scheduled for training is showing here too. I'm gonna go to calendar. Just make it very easy on your phone to join a call. You just click on join. You don't have to do anything else. It's all integrated. So again, it just make it very easy to work on your documents on the web, on your desktop, and on your mobile as you go. And if we go back to the document again on my team here, and I open this, you can see the updates are there, and that's the power of collaboration. And I'm going to go back to my slide here, and Jonathan, let me know if there is any other question. I just want to talk about a few other things here.
Yeah, I'll jump in. One's quick, and then one I think you'll address in some of your coming slides. One was restoring deleted files and sort of what can you do within Teams or Office 365 as opposed to other backup solutions. And then the second one that I think you're going to touch on is, can Teams replace an on-premise phone system?
Yeah, so very good question. So for the files here, if we go here to the Teams, of course, and as I said, you open this in SharePoint. Within the SharePoint, you have your recycling bin here. So if I delete a file, it's going to be in recycling bin. And so let's just go delete this. Let me refresh this page. So that's gone from here. And I go to recycling bin, is here. So again, something got deleted. You come to SharePoint, recycle bin, and restore. Again, as easy as that. Answer to the second question about the phone system, most definitely. Again, that's something that we have done at Point Alliance ourselves many years ago. We are using Microsoft phone system, and it's been great, especially with what we have to kind of, as of March 16, we all moved working from home, and allow us to actually carry our desk phones with us. Doesn't really matter where you are anymore, because as long as you have your PC or you have your mobile device, your phone number follows you. The nice thing about it, with the most VoIP systems, you need to manage separately from your Active Directory and those things. Once your phone system is part of the Microsoft team, when your person join your organization, you give them an Office license, you give them a phone license. And it is integrated with the Microsoft Teams, so you don't have to introduce another third-party app tools on their phones or on their desktop and so on. Other thing that again, the whole idea is that as I mentioned, whatever you need, wherever you go, is very important. We're going to share this links and this PowerPoint with you later. So you're going to have a link that have access to all the apps that is available for when you go here. So you can see there's a PowerPoint apps and for organization. This is a great resource of all you need, and the base of your the device you're using and so on. So we will share that with you. Next one is quick start guides. Microsoft, again, as I mentioned, done an amazing job with the education pieces for the users to allow to kind of be able to kind of know how to work efficiently with each product. And again, they have one for each of their product: Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Microsoft Teams. And if I open this one here, 1 second, I apologize going back and forth, but this is a team one. These are great documents, and it's a 4 or 5 pager that touch on all areas of the teams. That if you wish, you can print them in a double-sided papers and so on, or just leave it on your desktop for future reference. These are all free of charge, available by Microsoft. Next thing that I want to cover, again, back to devices. Microsoft Teams has a wide range of the devices that you can use to communicate with for your one-to-one calls, to the meeting, and so on. Again, we work with the Poly for all our devices with the desktop phones or a headset and so on. We use wide range of those, and we'll be happy to provide you additional information going forward. They have amazing devices, and from video conferencing and so on with the team room setup, so we can help you with all those, all your needs. So wide range of product that, again, the all Microsoft Teams certified devices. So when you get a Poly headset that is Team certified, it knows already. So you can use your headset to communicate with Microsoft Teams without even have to touch your keyboard or your mouse, and so on. So again, great products. That said, that's bring us to the end of our presentation. I really appreciate you all joining us today. We have this Solution for Success webinars on a monthly basis on the third Tuesday of each month. Next month, we're going to talk about Microsoft Endpoint Manager. It's another product dear to my heart. It's a fantastic tool to help you to manage all your devices, Windows, Android, iOS devices within your organization in a secure manner, be able to push the products that your staff need, especially in this remote situation that we have. In March, we're talking about Microsoft Lists. That's a new release of that integration with SharePoint. We talk about that. And then in April, we're going to talk about shifts in the Microsoft Teams. Again, this product depends on your licenses, might be included in your license or not. But again, lots of great products available within the Microsoft 365 tenant that you can add, from Dynamics to the Endpoint Manager and many more, to make your organization run efficient under one roof and same security. Again, Microsoft perhaps is the largest security company in the world. Without announcing that, they spend the billions of dollars every year on research to make sure your tenant is secure, and that's very important to lots of clients, and why Microsoft Team is very popular in compared with the other products these days. And that said, I don't know if there's any other question, Jonathan, we need to answer.
No, I think you have addressed them all, John. I think that's been a great demo. Again, as we opened up and mentioned, lots of organizations making great use of Teams, especially during the pandemic. Microsoft has provided a great tool set to enable users to get into this. And I think, again, where Point Alliance helps organizations is just around some of the security and the governance and the training of users, how to follow best practices when using these tools, because there's so much power at the end user's disposal. You just need to be a little careful at the end of the day that all of a sudden you don't have 100 teams and 100 channels and people sharing things externally that you don't know about, and those sorts of things. So powerful tools that sometimes require a little governance and a little forethought. And certainly that's where we jump in and help folks out. So no other questions, John, at this time.